How about the other game? Bengals at the Broncos. The Broncos are laying 7.5. The Broncos are minus 400 on the money line. The Bengals are plus 310, and the total is 44. I have to say, I am not interested in laying 7.5 with the Broncos. And this really isn't me trusting Jake Browning for the Bengals, but I will say this. If you look at his history in filling in for Joe Burrow, he's very much hit and miss, which is what you would expect. He looked awful against the Vikings last week, and he faces another big challenge in that Broncos defense. But also, there is the talent there, and there is a receiving core for him to play well, or at least play well enough to keep it within 7.5 points. And not only that, on the other side, even though the Bengals defense is not very strong this year, can Bo Nix take advantage of that? I'm not quite so sure. He was definitely better than we all expected last year during his rookie season, but he hasn't taken that next step this year. Can he score enough points to get the Broncos over the hump and have them win by more than 8 points? I don't know if I see that. I would lead Bengals here.
Right, because based on what we've seen this season, this does not look like a Broncos team that's capable of blowing people out. Like, I understand you see, like, the first game of the season, you're like, oh, they beat the Titans by 8. Have you seen the Titans lately? The Titans are a terrible team. And plus, they only scored 20 points in that game. And I think the most alarming part of Bo Nix is the fact that he has had time to throw. He is playing behind one of the best offensive lines in football, and he's still not making the throws. As opposed to Jake Browning, who I know doesn't have good numbers, but also he's playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. So it's just not an apples to apples comparison, because Jake Browning is just playing with far less in front of him. And that's the question. Even if you have great receiving tools like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, if you don't have time to get the ball down the field, you can't take full advantage of guys like that. And plus, on the secondary, Pat Surtain, the second reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, is probably going to be tasked with slowing down Jamar Chase, even though in the last matchup, Jamar Chase had his way with him. But remember, that was a game in which Joe Burrow was the starting quarterback. So this is a tough one for me. I think at the end of the day, in no world am I like 7.5 with the Broncos. I think it's going to be a stay away from me.
Yeah, me too. I will say I would also lean towards the under in this game. And, we mentioned the Broncos defense. It should be better than what we've seen thus far. I think they can mitigate the effectiveness of Jake Browning and Bo Nix. Will he light up the scoreboard? I don't think so. We know primetime unders. They hit more than 60% of the time. They have for the past 4 years. So in the other game, I like the over. I think we see some points based on the skill sets of each offensive team, Dolphins and Jets. But here in the Mile High City, where defenses tend to dominate and where I think we can see Patrick Surtain lock down Jamar Chase, at least with Jake Browning under center, and where I don't know if I trust Bo Nix to really go to town, then I would lean under here. Do you like any props in this game?
I think if you're looking at somebody, and if you do believe in the Broncos, I think J.K. Dobbins is probably the play. He's had a relatively high ceiling this year, 63, 76, and 83 yards, averaging 5.4 yards per carry this season. I think that's the play if you think this game gets out of hand. The Bengals have not been especially stout on the defense in any way, shape, or fashion, and it does feel like J.K. Dobbins has the lion's share of the targets when it comes to attempts as a running back. Plus, tonight you get him at, 64.5. I think you hit the over there.
One other one I'm curious about, and it's tough with Jake Browning at quarterback, but if you think that the Broncos are going to focus on Jamar Chase along with Surtain, and they probably should, then maybe you look at T. Higgins, maybe his yardage prop or an anytime touchdown plus 275. Do they pivot there because of the focus on Chase? Maybe so, but you are getting some plus money and maybe something worth a look.